When you're a stand-up comedian, different people look at you very differently. This is what your friends think you do.
Who are laughing, NCB wants to know your location. Huh? This is what your parents think you do. And this is what your relatives think you do. But this is what you actually do. You cry. Because writing jokes is not easy. People think that anyone can become a stand-up comedian. No. I have done a 4-year course on stand-up comedy called engineering. I can't believe you're actually clapping to that. What kind of engineers are we raising? For the last 10 years, I've been very confused about my career. Last 10 years, I've been a software engineer, an entrepreneur, a sales coach, a digital marketer, a soft skills trainer, an event manager, a corporate show host, and now a stand-up comedian. You've seen those Instagram reels where girls do this and their top changes? Like that, I've changed my career. I recently invited my father to one of my stand-up comedy shows, and I asked him which joke you liked the most. He said, your career. And he doesn't find me funny also. You know, my dad recently told me, you know what's the difference between you and your mom? At least she delivered a joke. But ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to share with you 3 lessons from stand-up comedy. Oh, sorry, wrong slide. Yeah, same thing anyways. 3 lessons from stand-up comedy. I'll start with my first lesson. Guess how much time it takes to create 5 minutes of funny jokes? 2 days? Well, that's the time it takes to book an Ola. Right? It takes a good 30 to 35 days. Because in the stand-up comedy world, there's a metric called the LPM, which stands for laughs per minute. A good comedian should have an LPM of 6, which is 6 laughs per minute, which is 1 laugh every 10 seconds, which is 1 laugh every 3 sentences. And for a comedian to have an LPM of 6 for about 4 minutes of content, we need to spend at least 30 to 35 days. 2 weeks of writing, 4 weeks of testing it at open mics. We need to go to at least 40 to 45 open mics. Few of you are wondering, what's an open mic? Well, here it is. It's just a small cafe or a restaurant where we are testing jokes on 3 to 4 people who don't want to hear them. Right? Once I performed for one person for a good 40 minutes, the show went so well, next week the cafe shut down. Even this couple broke up after my performance. The reason we have to test it at open mics is because what's funny to you might not be funny to people around you. Agree? Every joke will evolve. Every joke has a story. Every joke will transform. I'll take you through a journey of a joke. Here's the setup to the joke. Sometime back, my iPhone had fallen in water. So I went to YouTube and I typed what to do when your phone falls in water. Right? The first video came which said put in a bag of rice. Right? And I found this very funny. Right? Like, I mean, out of all the things to do, you have to put it in rice. Right? So I thought, let me write a joke on this. The first 10 days I started writing, this is what the joke was. I put it in a bag of rice. Next day, phone to nahi chal raha, ab rice bhi phone mein ghus gaya hai. Not funny, I know. Couple of chuckles from there, not that funny. Right? This was the week 1. I said, hey, let's improve this. I'm sure it can be a lot better. Week number 2, this is what the punchline evolved to. Right? I put the phone in rice. Next day, mom cooked the same rice. Kya swad aaya iPhone ka? Slightly better. Slightly better. Few more chuckles. Week number 4, I still remember I was driving back home. This was the 27th day of writing this joke. This punchline just hit me, and this is how it stands. I went to YouTube and I typed what to do when your phone falls in water. First video came which said put in a bag of rice. Comments में एक बंदा पूछा था सोना मसूरी या बासमती. I was like, तू सीधा बिरयानी में डाल. Much better, right? It took me a good 27 days to get it to that line. Every joke takes time. Sometimes I spend 50, 60 days to get that one punchline. But today's generation, we want everything now. We are what I call the Maggie generation. We want everything in 2 minutes. Name, fame, success, glory. We want it now, and we want it instantly. Ladies and gentlemen, in a world which is telling you to be like Maggie, I say be like wine. Because wine becomes better every single day. Great things in life take time. They say Rome was not built in a day, but hey, Rome was built every single day. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, if you're like wine improving every single day, eventually you'll get there. I still remember my journey on LinkedIn. For the last 2.5 years, I've been putting up a joke every single day on LinkedIn. Every morning I wake up, I spend the first 1 hour thinking of that one-liner which can crack people up. When I started off, the response was very mediocre. A couple of hundred views, 30, 40 likes. But over a period of time, my jokes started to improve. I started to understand the audience a lot more better. And 9 months back, boom, my first joke went viral, couple of million views, 30,000 likes. Since then, my posts have generated more than 100 million likes on LinkedIn. If you're like wine, ladies and gentlemen, you'll only go higher. Not on wine. Right? The lesson that I'm trying to share is be like wine. Moving to my second lesson. Imagine you crack a joke, you expect the audience to laugh, but no one laughs. You know what? That's more painful than a breakup. If you're confused, try stand up. Right? Because when a joke doesn't work, this is what happens to the comedian. There is no face here because we don't want to show our face. Right? And after a bad performance, this is how you sleep. I'm being very honest. I still remember my big performance. I was invited to the most prestigious college in India. I can't name it, but the first 3 letters were IIT. So I go to this college, 700 students. I'm looking forward. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. I do my first joke, silence. Second joke, pin drop silence. Can you feel the silence right now in the room? That's the silence I got. At least here I'm getting some laughs. Right? There I went for stand-up comedy, but I delivered a TEDx talk there. Have you ever got a round of applause where the audience is asking you to leave? That hurt. That night, I slept like this. That night, every arrow had a message on it, and that message was an INW. An INW, which means it's not working. Imagine thousands of arrows being thrown at you, every arrow telling you it's not working. The only way you can survive in stand-up comedy is if you consciously ignore these arrows and not let it sink in, because if it does, you'll quit. You see this beautiful red circle around me? That's what you need to build. A red circle which will protect you from these arrows by consciously saying stop. Because the moment you step out of this circle, these arrows can pull you down. And you'll have a lot of arrows in your life. INWs from friends, family, relatives. The worst INWs will come from your own self. Each of those INWs telling you it's not working. But when you are in this red circle, your circle of defense, nothing can stop you. My second lesson, build your red circle. Can you see a red circle around you? Moving to my third lesson. Stand-up comedy is very confusing. I did my iPhone joke, all of you laughed. Guess what? The same joke can stop working 10 minutes from now. It worked with this audience, but in my next show, it can completely bomb. There can be many reasons to it. Maybe I didn't build rapport with the audience. Maybe the timing was off, that's why the joke didn't land. Maybe I was not in the right mindset. Maybe the audience was not in the right mindset. Maybe the venue was not suitable for comedy. The list can go on and on. Forget jokes. Your career itself is confusing. Right? Because stand-up comedy as a career is all about extremes. Either you're very famous or no one knows you. Either you're making a lot of money or you're struggling financially. Count the number of comedians you know, the number of comedians you've heard of. 5, 10, 20, 25 at max. There are 2,500 comedians in India. Every comedian going out there to an open mic, trying their best to work on their content, completely confused when their career is going to take off. No idea when they're going to make money. Forget your career. You staying alive the next day is also confusing. Sometimes there are hecklers in the audience, who will fight with the comedian during the show. They'll fight with the comedian after the show. There's a good friend of mine called Lakshay. He's a stand-up comedian based out of Bangalore. He was doing an open mic in Kormangala. He does this joke. Someone in the audience gets offended. That person in the audience throws a beer bottle at Akshay. And Akshay is devastated because this man just wasted beer. Right? So stand-up comedy is very confusing. Guess what? Life is also confusing. Between 20 to 30, you're confused about your career. Between 30 to 40, you're confused whether you married the right person or not. Between 40 to 50, you're sure you didn't marry the right person. Between 50 to 60, you're confused as to why are you still confused. The biggest lesson that stand-up comedy can teach you is to enjoy the confusion. Right? That is all there is to this. You can't do anything about it because you will be confused irrespective of where you be. Few of you are confused how to make money. Ambani is confused where to keep his money. Right? So the confusion will always remain there. Don't waste your time watching motivational videos on how to clear my confusion in 10 minutes. No, even the motivational speaker is confused whether the video will work or not. So ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, if you build that red circle around you which protects you from these INWs, if you were like wine, getting better every single day, and you're someone who always enjoys that confusion around you, life will be like a party just like this and a grand celebration. Cheers to that. Thank you.